Good morning from the CNET New Studios. It is Monday, October 2nd. I'm BVG, and we are here for episode 292 of the 359 podcast. And on today's show, we've got Alfred, Ben Fox Rubin, and David Katzmaier is back again.
Howdy.
Hey, thanks for coming back, man.
Yeah, it feels like I was just here.
There's like so much streaming news.
I know. Well, it's TV time. This is the TV time of year.
Can you even say whether you know if there's going to be even more coming out on Wednesday during the Google event?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they always release. The last couple of years they released Chromecast 2015 and then Chromecast Ultra last year. I'd be curious to see if they want to update. I don't feel like they're going to, just because we haven't heard anything.
Okay. Well, for this show, we're going to be talking all about Roku. The streaming family got an all-new update. We'll also be discussing virtual credit card skimmers with Alfred. He wrote that story over the weekend. And then we'll wrap up with the SNES Classic Edition. Hopefully somebody out there got one, and we'll discuss that. Without further ado.
Did you get one, David?
Oh, yeah.
You got like three.
Let's get to the podcast. Send in your questions and comments. BVG will get to as many as he can at the end of the show. And let's go.
And we'll be recording the podcast back in 3 minutes and 59 seconds from 3, 2...
Welcome to the 359. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred.
And
I'm David Katzmaier.
I was going to intro you.
That's okay.
I'm going to do it anyway. With us for a second time in a row is David Katz in the Cradle Katzmaier, our Epic TV reviewer. There you go. You got it anyway. We brought you back to talk about the new lineup of Roku devices, which range from $30 to $100.
Yep.
What are the big changes here?
Really, there's only one new player among those five. The other four we've seen and reviewed before, although they do have bumped up processors. But the one I want to talk about is the Streaming Stick Plus, the new $70 stick that goes right up against the Amazon Fire TV.
Just rolls off your tongue.
Oh, yeah.
Streaming Stick
It
Plus.
only goes on Amazon. It goes up
against
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are the two kind of big 4K HDR streaming sticks coming out this year. It's the cool new addition is this remote that can control your television. So it's got buttons on it for volume and power. The programming.
Why did that take so long?
Well, they've had it forever on other devices. For example, cable box controls. But this is the first time streamers have had it. I think it's just an extra expense that nobody wanted to add. But they're putting it even down on the $50 non-4K streaming stick, and it's cool because again, one remote controls your TV volume and power. You don't need to reach for that other remote, and you can probably leave it in a drawer for the most part.
I was thinking about how frustrating that was the other day, where I had to turn the volume down, but I couldn't find the other remote.
Yeah.
It's very
you
annoying.
poor baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that happens to me all the time, but it's like such a first world issue.
Yeah.
So for anybody that has a Roku or another streaming box right now, is there a good reason to upgrade? Like, what would be a good candidate for an upgrade?
I mean, it'd be somebody that got a new TV and you kind of just, cascade them down, put the older streamers on the older TVs and put the new nice one on the new TV you got. Otherwise, some people are annoyed by their older streamers. Sometimes the Netflix app isn't updated, or, it goes slower, or maybe you're sick of Amazon trying to push stuff down your throat, for example. So there's a lot of different reasons to get something like this, and they're so cheap, At the end of the day, you might go, oh, it's a great gift. I'll just put it on my list.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of upgrading just to get the extended Wi-Fi range, if it works at all.
Yeah.
Did you actually notice the amped up processor? They always say it's like 5x,
So-
10x, 15x faster.
I did, just because the old one was so slow. So the original Express, the $30 entry-level device, is hella slow. The new one is like super fast, which means it's kind of like it takes the place of the streaming stick, which was really fast, as my new recommendation, because it's $20 less. And by the way, it does everything, all the apps and everything, and it's cheaper. So it's kind of the new go-to, at least so far. I'll test them in full in a little bit. Roku of choice.
Cool. Switching gears, Alfred, you wrote about virtual credit card skimmers. What are those?
So, you know how they had credit card skimmers already at your ATM, where when people stick hardware onto it, then you put your card in and it steals your card information? Now that's gone virtual. So in the same sense, instead of them having to go to every ATM and putting this piece of hardware on it and then going back and then extracting it, a research firm had discovered that basically there had been several hacking campaigns against, major banks. Most of these are overseas. I haven't seen any attacks happen in the U.S. yet, but basically they'll hack the bank, either through phishing, some kind of exec there, and then install the skimmers on all of their ATMs at the same time. So there was this one campaign in Croatia in January 2016, where basically it made 1.3 million euros before they found out that it was there.
Wasn't it 13?
That might have been it. Yeah.
It might,
Yeah.
but
Might have
they
been a
made
decimal off.
yeah. But they ended up making a lot of money. Is there
Yeah.
anything the consumers can do about this?
It's really hard to detect when it's a virtual skimmer because it's literally exactly the same thing as yours. But I mean, there's been things that people have been able to do for hardware skimmers. A company called SparkFun came out with an app called Skimmer Scanner a few weeks ago, where basically a lot of these skimmers use like a Bluetooth chip on it, so it like purposely seeks out this Bluetooth chip, and if it detects it, there's likely a skimmer around you.
So also we wanted to get to the NES Classic Edition, which went on sale.
SNES Classic Edition.
Sorry, what did I say? NES
NES
Classic, that also existed. It went on sale this past Friday. And the mini console is probably like sold out in all sorts of places. But David, you got one.
Yeah, well, actually, I think you might have as well, Ben.
I did not get one.
Oh, you didn't get one?
No,
Okay.
I didn't shell
So
out for it.
we all went, CNET as a posse kind of went down because the Amazon treasure truck was right there. We were among lucky few. So it's it's a really cool $80 a device that has all these games built into it. And I'm pretty excited to play some games from my childhood. Super Mario
crack
World,
it open
etc.
yet?
I'm not that excited. I spent the weekend playing a different game, so I'll go back to it, and maybe it'll be a cool thing around the holidays with the family coming.
Sounds good. If you want to read more about these stories, check us out on CNET. I'm Ben Fox Rubin.
I'm Alfred Ing.
And I am David Katzmaier.
Thanks for listening.
That's your catchphrase now. You were waiting for that. You were waiting for that the whole
I had a real
damn
reason to. 'Cause
He said he
the
wasn't
whole
going to do it.
friggin' time.
I told you I was going to intro you.
You know there was comments on that in the last episode. Like I came
Yes.
here because I heard the whisper on the podcast.
Yeah.
I was
What happened? Did somebody
What
stub his
happened?
toe?
No.
How did it
no.
happen?
It's now we have to stumble over each other every time you're on the show.
Yeah, well, you know what?
And
I'm
this
looking
is
forward
David.
to
I'm
that.
David.
I'm David.
I'm
No,
David.
I'm David. I just want to do all the intros.
That's fine.
Can I do that every time?
It's
I come
okay.
on?
It
I'll
actually-
do VVG. Can I do that?
yeah, it's fine with me.
All right, you got
I
it.
don't know. You might get
That's
a little
sacred
territorial.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's so good at it.
I don't know.
No, I'm not. All right, I'm gonna start farming the comment section for any good questions. But David, what game were you playing that wasn't the SNES that you just dropped like $100 on?
It's 80.
Oh, no way. I mean, come on. You got to defer. I'm a one-game guy. I can't read more than one
So
novel
what,
at
what
once.
game
It's a
are you
Monaga
playing?
game.
Starts?
It's called Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a game that actually Ackerman wrote an article about it recently about how popular it is on Steam. I was there before the article, but it's just it's a over the top isometric
Simpsons
RPG.
did it first. Cats did it first.
Exactly. So those are the kind of games I'm into recently. It's like a little bit like a Baldur's Gate, old school type RPG.
Yeah.
But super fun.
PC. Yeah.
No, well, actually, I'm running it on PC, but I'm playing with a controller, which is my preferred tactic. So I plug the PC into the TV and play 65-inch PC games with a controller from my couch. Sorry, I'm going to stop now.
Well done.
But yeah, it's fun. It works great, even though it's isometric with a lot of control and crazy inventory and all that stuff. The controller works awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the first game you're planning on playing on the SNES Classic?
Mario World, of course. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I
That's-
recently played through it again.
Yeah,
But not on
awesome.
an SNES Classic. I was telling Ben this, where I felt like I didn't need to get one, considering that I can get all the games I wanted to play already on a 3DS.
Yes.
Plus the Raspberry Pi that I have at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the games. It's not about the games.
Yeah, it's
about,
like a
it's
collector's
about the,
item.
it's about the
3DS
shelf
is-
porn.
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't care for that. So
Yeah.
I'm not a guy that just likes to get something to show something off, and that's what I feel like the SNES.
feel like
Well,
the
that's
mu-
me.
I feel like so
Um,
much of the music industry was that for a long time. Now, not so much. But your
What, like
comment
buying
on
like vinyl records or something?
no, not so much of vinyl records, but if you just repackaged like greatest hits or stuff like that, and you made it like a really impressive package or a box set.
Remember,
then
yeah,
there
the
was-
DVD boom, box set boom, the
Yeah.
TV box set,
The
collector
white-
items.
It
Oh,
gave
yeah.
people reason enough to get it, or like
It lasted all of like
Criterion.
6 weeks, but it was a big deal.
So is Nintendo cresting off of that general feel of wanting to do that?
I've like
Maybe.
felt that they've been taking like the streetwear approach to this, or like the Jordans approach, where it's like, oh, we're gonna make it like limited supply, so it looks like it's really rare, and then all these people want to come and like buy it, and it's like really good marketing for them.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but like the IP existed from like
Yeah.
20 or 25
That's like
years ago.
to me, I'm like that's like the only reason why they have such limited supply for it, like that. Because they want this kind of like Jordans like appeal to the, which are also collector's items. People aren't buying Jordans because like they make you like they're better to play basketball in.
They're not?
I would I would really be interested in the GameCube mini console, which, by the way, the GameCube was already pretty tiny to begin with.
And with Nintendo, they got a fine line to walk because with the NES Classic, by all
think-
accounts, it was much smaller inventory than this, and this is kind of like they decided, all right, now we're going to beef it up. We're going to try to avoid some backlash.
Yeah, I would. The GameCube like mini console would be the only one that I would buy. Maybe that or like an N64, only because you can't really do like virtual console like GameCube games that well. And like if you want to do like Dolphin Emulator, that's like you actually need like a decent rig for that.
Both of those consoles, I wasted so many hours of my life playing.
Which is why I would
those
get
were I played those too so often. And considering that we've got the NES Classic and the SNES Classic now, and they have been really big hits, the likelihood of those additional mini consoles coming out seems pretty significant.
I think at least the 64. They might cap it after that though, because then it becomes contemporary.
When did the
Wii
GameCube? I was
Classic,
in high
baby.
school.
Right.
I was in high school when the GameCube came out. It's been a while.
I still feel like that might be right on the edge of what you would call the concurrent generation of Nintendo consoles, of video gaming consoles. I know it's only, what was that, 4th gen? That was 4th gen.
Something like that. Yeah.
And I know that's relatively far back now, but still, I think it's more associated with like gaming today than gaming of yesteryear.
Oh, it's also like hitting a demographic, people of a certain age. Like those are the games that I grew up playing was NES and SNES, and it's like I don't really care that much about the GameCube games. So it's like you got to hit the window of when those guys have a disposable income.
The biggest reason why I'd appreciate a GameCube Classic though is if they started selling GameCube controllers again, just because like those are optimal for playing Super Smash Brothers on.
Definitely.
And yeah.
Wait a minute. Was it the GameCube controller or the N64 controller that had like the 3-prong?
That was
the
the
N64
64
controller.
yeah.
That's the Batarang controller.
That I liked a lot.
The Trident. You like the 64 controller?
Yeah,
What's wrong with
yeah,
you?
yeah. That
Oh.
was great for Super Smash Brothers.
I
as
hated
far
that.
as
Some
I
kind
was
of freak.
concerned.
What was going on?
Yes, I have 3 hands, so it was perfect for me. All right, do we have any Roku questions or any other questions in the chat?
We do. We have some great questions. Josh Boyda asks, David, is it worth getting a Roku if I already have a Chromecast?
Depends on whether you want to use a remote
Touche.
as opposed to your phone.
Which I used the Chromecast for a little while, and using my phone I found to be pretty annoying.
Yeah, I will say this. I swore by Chromecast for a bit, but it became really like annoying when my phone is dead.
Oh, right.
And I can't watch anything now. That's kind of silly.
Yeah, and just having physical buttons means you don't have to look at anything besides your television screen. And to me, that's like a great, a single kind of concentration as opposed to, driving around on your phone and, I just got a tweet. Oh, wait, somebody's calling me. Oh, yeah, I got to figure out what
Well,
show
not
to
only
watch.
that, but like you also don't have to unlock your remote every single time you have to change. You want to change the channel or fast forward.
Well,
or
you can
whatever.
put the stuff on the lock screen for some of them. But yeah,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think the remote's more convenient.
I broke down and put just one of my old iPhone 4s, 3s, I forget what the hell it was. I just turned that into a universal remote. I
that's
just
a good tactic.
parked that in
That's
the dock
usually
near the
what I do.
table. Or like Matthew Datcher says, and our buddy Ayaz in-house, they swear by the Harmony remote.
Yep. That's what I use at home, and again, it controls a Roku, doesn't control a Chromecast. So you're kind of one or the other. I mean, it's a valid argument that the Chromecast has a lot of features, especially the app updates usually come faster, to the mobile apps that the Chromecast uses than, for example, something on a Roku where they got to brew up something new for everything. But Roku's really good at keeping up to date. So.
So, David, while we're staying on topic of the Harmony remote, Matthew Datcher says he's sick of or my problem with the Roku and other sticks is a lack of IR control. How are others handling that problem with universal remotes, expanding beyond Harmony?
Yeah, so Harmony, again, does a great job because they have IP control built into the hub, and it can control Rokus, it can control PlayStation 3, stuff like that doesn't have IR. I don't know about other devices because honestly, in the remote control game, Harmony's kind of the beginning and end. They're the ones that have the most technology and do the greatest for sales. I think there's other guys. You can go to CVS and probably buy a remote, from right behind the cash register there. But at the end of the day, I always recommend Harmony, and they've done really well for me. And that control of stuff that doesn't have IR is one of the main things. Or you could just get a device that has an IR receiver on it, but those are getting more and more rare.
I mean, that's why I hated using my Roku, like the really old Roku before, though, where it's like, okay, that's not working.
Right. I got to
right.
aim. Yeah. Now it's like, you can go across the house or whatever. And a Harmony app works pretty good too. So.
Yeah, I've been using my app as a controller a lot more.
Yep.
And I will say I do appreciate the Chromecast more only because I can cast stuff on it that's not like from YouTube or
Yes.
Netflix or anything like that.
Yeah, you can put anything or screen mirror, you
Yeah.
know, whatever you want to put up there, which is great for
And
photos.
there's
and
no
stuff.
option like that for Roku yet, right?
Well, they have mirroring, but it's in beta, and it's been in beta for, I think, like 5 years. So
Okay.
they don't really care that much about it. Their main thing is deving for the actual apps on their box.
Well,
or
that's
the
not
stick,
fun.
or the dongle, whatever you want
It's
to call
fun
it.
for them.
The dongle.
Dongle. Roku went all stick this time, by the way. No dongles. It's still
Is
still
it the
sticks
Express
and boxes.
like a? Oh,
yeah,
it's
the
a box.
Express is like kind of a, but that's the thing you have to
Wait,
have.
what's the difference between the stick and a dongle?
Yes. Tell us.
A dongle technically has a attached HDMI cable that you cannot remove, whereas the stick is the HDMI, and the box, or whatever you want to call the Express, that little thing, has a detachable standard HDMI cable. So there you go.
Is the Chromecast is a stick then?
It's a dongle
What?
because you can't.
So I guess the new
Chromecast
Fire
is-
TV is a dongle.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that
Think,
makes
think
sense.
dangle, dongle, dongle, dangle.
But isn't a Chromecast just a stick on its own though?
Diddly doodly.
Well, the original Chromecast was a stick.
Yeah, that's
So
what,
I'm sorry.
I guess that's what I'm referring to.
You're
I-
living in 2013, man. I'm talking about the quote-unquote new Chromecast, which came out in 2015, which is a little puck. And it's like,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's
So
got an
that would
attached
be a
thingy.
dongle.
Yes,
Okay.
totally. They went from stick to dongle, leading the industry in that direction.
Good
Some more
stuff.
questions?
Yes. I mean, my head
Are
is
they-
spinning, so yes, absolutely.
Oh, the semantics of dongleism.
Right.
Is that the new CNET religion?
Hashtag
Starting a new
dongleism.
religion. That's right.
All swear by dongleism. James Favor asks, will these new features be on Roku TVs?
Yeah. Oh, great question. So a lot of them, yes. The short answer is yes. The new features, especially, well, the remote that controls your TV isn't really required if you have a Roku TV in general. But this gives me an opportunity to talk about Roku TV. They have a new update coming out too in November. The cool thing about Roku TVs, they're televisions that have Roku built in. You don't have to connect anything to them to get all that Roku functionality and streaming or whatever it is. And they're our favorite smart TV operating system because they're super easy to use. The new thing that they're rolling out, so you watch over the air antenna, right? If you cut the cord especially, you have an antenna connected, it's got a program guide on it, so Roku finally adds that program guide. The thing that the program guide does that nobody else does is a little asterisk next to the names of shows. And like, you know, whatever, I did it with Night Court and American Ninja Warrior, whatever it was, stuff that was over the air. You press a button, and it immediately shows you where that exact episode is streaming on other services. You click the button again, and you start watching that episode. It's crazy.
Whoa.
That's neato
So,
completo.
yeah,
That is
so
neato completo.
it's like I'm basically using my over the air as a browse, as a super powered browse for all the stuff that's available on streaming. So you're sitting there like,
That is
I'm
sweet.
on my guide. What do I want to watch? Oh wait, this isn't on yet. It's tomorrow night. Oh wait, click. I'm watching it. And it's a really cool way to kind of subvert the live TV experience by saying, hey, by the way, do you know this stuff is actually probably on Amazon? And maybe as a Prime subscriber, you can watch it right now. And you don't have to search, actively on those apps. It's all kind of thrown at you from the
But
guide.
you need the Roku TV for that type of feature.
You are correct, sir. So again, if you have a stick or whatever, it doesn't have a TV tuner built into it yet. And that, kind of functionality for TV tuner is basically just for the TVs.
Why don't they have that TV tuner like functionality built in? Because I do have like an over-the-air like antenna already, and like to have both of those seems kind of annoying to me.
Yeah, that would be cool. I could picture like them making a Roku Ultra box, whatever. That's $100, and maybe another $20 to put a RF, jack on the back of it you can screw an antenna into. I think it's just cost, and the fact that at the end of the day, every TV now has a built-in tuner. So they figure, why are we duplicating this stuff? But again, the same logic applies to smart TVs. Every TV's smart now, so who knows?
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
TV, tuner, dongle dangle. I got it.
Tuner-tainer. I'm a tuner-tainer.
All right, let's get to a couple more questions before we wrap it up for the day. Michael Brown asks, wouldn't supporting Android Pay and Apple Pay be the easiest route to combat fake skimmers?
Yes, it would. And that's why a lot of people in the industry are kind of trying to move toward that, or like contactless pay and things like that. When the Whole Foods thing that happened on Friday. So I wrote an article on Friday morning. Whole Foods had announced that some of their stores had points of service, like system sabotage. Basically, like if you swiped your credit card at any of their tap rooms and restaurants, why are you going to a bar and a restaurant at a Whole Foods? But anyway, that's
Why
besides
wouldn't
the
you?
point. Like your system was like your
Because I
credit
just
card-
got over the fact that I spent $600 on groceries and I need to drown my sorrows.
But yeah, your
So-
credit card
so that
information
would
might have
be-
been stolen.
So that was a credit card skimmer?
No, that's not a
situation?
skimmer situation because that's points of service. That's like you paying.
It's not
That's
a skimmer
them, like,
situation
no.
or a TV.
But the
tuner.
point is that like they were saying that Apple Pay and Android Pay and all that stuff, all the phone paying systems, those were not compromised because they have like security depending on the phone, like et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Yeah, they
the-
use tokenization.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like moving toward that. The problem is that not everybody can switch to that. It's kind of expensive to move to a system like that.
Those are far
And it's
from
not universal.
entirely safe
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, it's just a matter. You
They
think,
can
a matter
skim
of
your
time before
pocket.
somebody figures
That
that out
too.
too.
So
Also, I'm horrified at the idea of like, I can't afford my sandwich today. My phone's dead.
yeah.
That happened to me on the train. Had to buy a physical ticket. Sucks. Anyway.
For continuing with our first world problem podcast.
Yeah, but basically, that a lot of places are trying to move to contactless pay. Specifically, like banks are trying to encourage more businesses to be doing that. That is a good fix, but that's not like an end all be all to this thing.
Of course not. There'll
Yeah.
never be an end all be all because they're going to keep making it to be a pain in the ass.
Very good question, though, Michael.
Excellent question. All right, let's just go over a couple wish list things for Nintendo before we wrap it up for the day.
Yo, what if they made a Switch Classic?
With a TV tuner.
Tuner tainer dingly
Skimmer
dongly.
scanner.
If only it was a dongle.
Switch dongle.
It would be the perfect product.
The Great Mr. Lizard regarding the
Is that a
SN
name?
That is a name.
Wait. We've
He's
had
been
him
here-
before.
he's
Many
One word.
times.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's a fan
capital L.
favorite.
Welcome back, Great Mr. Lizard.
Awesome.
Regarding the SNES Classic, I'm waiting for these games to hit the Switch Virtual Console.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then Michael Brown, I'm just waiting till Nintendo partners with smartphone OS makers to allow Game Boy game support or games in consecutive app stores.
I love it.
They're never
love
gonna
it.
do that. They're never gonna do that.
They're never going to do it.
Maybe
but
one
they
game
can't
at a
stop-
time.
Because they can't make
No, I
money
just can't
continuously
stop
off of
thinking
it.
about it.
It's
mean, that's-
because Nintendo is a huge tease, and all they want to do is make their fans very angry at them at all times.
That's a
Pokemon
bold
Yellow
statement.
coming to iPhone OS.
That
Limited availability, only 300 downloads.
in 2020.
I like that.
No, like they're never gonna put any like specific game like remake games because on the phones because like why would they do that when they can do it for their consoles? That's what they did. They remade.
They want to sell hardware.
They made Gold and Silver available again, but that's only for like a 3DS or /2DS download.
It's just astonishing to me because they have such a great software catalog. Why not tout that? Why keep pushing the hardware game?
It's
And
just
like
a matter of getting the right price.
If you notice the
They
games
will
that
when they get to the
if
right price.
If you notice the games that they make for like mobile, that's all like a big money grab for them. Super Mario Run, where
Yeah.
you can like
They
pay
charge
for-
$10.
and that was one game, and it was super hyped. I mean, Apple was
Yeah.
talking about that. You
Yeah,
know? It's like-
Pokemon Go, where like all these businesses bought into like buying Pokestops and baits, so like other people
Yeah.
would go to their stores for once.
it can't just be monetized; it has to be ultra monetized.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well,
like,
think about the mini consoles. Like the SNES Classic is just minting them cash.
Yeah.
You spend you're spending $80 on a piece of plastic
that
with
you literally already had.
right with like just a handful of games inside. Their profit margins on that must be like
Are you saying I'm a sucker?
$79.
Because I can still sell it on eBay for like 190. So
Go
you
for
know,
it.
All right.
No, you're not a sucker. You're just giving into the nostalgia bomb that's happening.
And
in
it works,
2017.
man. They got the pictures of the games on the back. It's really cool. You can almost imagine myself playing them 15 years younger.
And then call your mom on like your Nokia.
I'd have to hide it from my
I
mom
will
because
say
she'd
this,
come in
though.
and be like, "No video games, boy." Anyway,
I was playing a ton of Game Boy Advance games on my phone when Google didn't really police the whole emulator stuff there. But
those were good days, man.
yeah,
Oh my God, you are
Yeah.
really.
I got halfway through Pokemon Red on my phone before they shut that down.
I was playing emulated Chrono Trigger. It was so
Yeah.
good shit. I mean stuff.
no, this was like the first Android phone. This was like the G1, so it had like a
Oh,
keyboard
this was a
on
while
it,
ago.
and
the
like
statute of
You had the
limitations.
G1?
ended.
dude, yeah, I bought
So
the
did
G1 within
I.
like the first week. It's awesome.
We
Going out-
got to talk about that. You still have it?
No,
Oh,
Going out on a limb here to close things out. It's the one place that Sega is kicking Nintendo's ass is in software nostalgia hawking.
Explain.
Look at the
Kicking
mega
ass?
collections you can get. Put the at games console aside because that blue mega balls.
can we say
Mega
that?
Dragon Balls.
It's
You
just a
can say
play.
that.
No,
You
it's
can
a
say
play
that.
on Mega Drive. It's fine. No, but you can now that they're rolling it out. All these mobile ports for the classic games, all the way up through the Dreamcast era. Genius. Take my. They've already got all my money. They've already got all my money. I'm
Yeah.
downloading everything so far, and these are good ports. Like Crazy Taxi on the iPhone and on the Android works fantastic. You got Christian Whitehead working on those original Sonics, which were the big motivation behind all of this.
Yeah.
They're doing a killer job putting classic Sega in your pocket.
I mean, Sony, not Sony, but like games that were like exclusive for the PlayStation have been doing a really good job at that too. I saw somebody playing like Vice City on their phone. That's ridiculous.
I think that's existed for a little while.
Yeah, I know, but like it's like straight from
But
Rockstar.
it's the same strategy we want Nintendo to adopt.
Right.
And if
never gonna do
if
it.
only they would. Well, I mean, they got to figure out how to make tremendous amounts of money. It's Sega
think they
is
did
okay
well.
making just enough money.
They did well with Super Mario Run, I would imagine.
And Mario.
Yeah, it's Mario.
Whatever. I'm
He
from
says
Philadelphia.
it's a me Mario, dude.
He's from
I'm
Italy.
not changing it. I'm going to say Mario, along with all my other Philadelphia brethren.
Do you also say like what's his brother's name?
Luigi?
Okay.
What did you
It's
think I was going
Mario
to
and
say?
I don't
Luigi.
understand.
Soft G.
I don't understand your
Luigi.
attitude behind this. I've had this fight with people before. He says it's a me, a Mario.
I don't
and you
have to
I
say
still
it
insist
exactly
on
that
pronouncing
way.
your name wrong. Bean.
Yeah, what if I called you Bean all the time?
You can call me Bean. You guys, if you want to steamroll me over the way I say Mario, go ahead.
I'm
It's
Bean
not
Fox
changing.
Rubin.
If it wasn't definitively stated, I'd be open to the argument. But he says it's a me, a Mario.
I also don't say it's a me.
But he doesn't say, and don't say Mario.
Yeah, well, you know what? Here in America, we pronounce it.
You mean America?
Mario.
All right, get
Learn
out of
the
here.
language.
Everybody leave.
Everybody
Show's over.
leave.
Show's
Everybody
over.
leave.
This mic is undroppable.
Oh, it's time to leave.
It is
For
time to
real.
leave.
Oh, that's what
No.
that
All
means.
right, we're being queued off. All right,
It's the Emmys, and you screwed up.
Wrap it up.
The 359 podcast is available on iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, SoundCloud, FeedBurner, Google Play Music, and Mario.com.
It's
Plus-
on CNET.com.
Plus CNET.com.
Mario.com doesn't exist.
Thanks. I'm sure it
Sure it
exists
does.
somewhere.
Mario.com exists. I don't know what the hell Mario.com is.
Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. And
everybody.
that'll do it.